Welcome to Dreaded. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, not for me, but for the truth, because what we expose here is rarely spoken in the open. Today, we are tearing apart one of the most seductive lies ever told to humanity, the myth of meritocracy. It is a story so deeply ingrained in our culture that we rarely even question it. From childhood, we are told, work hard, study hard, keep your head down, and success will surely follow. The American dream, the belief that if you just grind long enough, if you just push hard enough, you will rise. It sounds noble, it feels empowering, it comforts the privileged and gives hope to the struggling. But behind the shiny mask of this story lies a brutal truth. The game was never fair, and the players were never equal. The idea of meritocracy promises fairness. It promises that talent and effort are the only ingredients of success, that wealth and power are simply the rewards of intelligence and discipline, that those who fail simply did not deserve more. But is that really true? Or is it just a convenient lie to keep us obedient, divided, and blind to the forces that shape our lives before we even take our first breath? Let us go back. The word meritocracy was coined by Michael Young in 1958. But here's the twist. Young did not intend it as a dream. He meant it as a nightmare. His book, The Rise of the Meritocracy, was a warning about a society where intelligence and effort alone determined worth. He foresaw a ruling elite who believed their wealth and status were fully earned and therefore fully justified. He imagined a world where the losers of this system would not only be poor, but also humiliated, told that they had no one to blame but themselves. His satire was a prophecy, and today, that prophecy is our reality. Consider the so-called lottery of birth. Where you were born, to whom you are born, and under what conditions you are raised is the single greatest predictor of your future. If you enter this world in the top 20% of American households, you have nearly an 80% chance of remaining in the upper half as an adult. If you are born in the bottom 20%, you are more likely to stay there than to escape. A child in poverty has only a 5% chance of ever reaching the top. 5%. That is not a ladder. It is a prison disguised as opportunity. And it isn't only about money. Sociologist Pierre Bourdieu called it cultural capital, the invisible inheritance of values, confidence, networks, and knowledge that wealthy children breathe like oxygen. They know how to speak the right way in interviews. They know which colleges to aim for. They know the hidden rules of the game before most others even know the game exists. Meanwhile, children from poor or marginalized backgrounds must run uphill with weights chained to their ankles, constantly being told that the race is fair. Now add to this the shadows of race, gender, and identity. In America, the average black household earns 61 cents for every dollar a white household earns. The resumes with so-called black-sounding names are less likely to receive a callback even with identical qualifications. Women globally earn less than men for the same work, are punished for motherhood, and blocked from leadership roles by invisible barriers. These are not accidents. They are the scars of history carved into the structure of society. Yet meritocracy whispers that these gaps exist because some people simply worked harder than others. It is not just a lie, it is a weaponized lie. And then there is networking, the silent currency of success. It's not what you know, but who you know. We say it jokingly, but we all know it is true. The best internships, the best jobs, the best introductions are rarely handed to the most qualified stranger. They are given to the nephew of a CEO, the daughter of a donor, the family friend who already belongs to the circle of privilege. Unpaid internships, so often framed as opportunities, shut out anyone who can't afford to work for free. This isn't merit. This is nepotism dressed in professional clothing. But perhaps the most dangerous factor of all is luck, the simple randomness of being at the right place at the right time, the entrepreneur whose idea takes off only because the market suddenly shifted, the student who meets a mentor by chance, the person who avoids a catastrophe by sheer accident. These are not signs of talent or genius. These are dice rolls. And yet when success arrives, we rewrite the story. We erase luck, and we call it merit. So what happens when a society clings to this lie? The consequences are not just unfair, they are cruel. First, there is the blame placed on those who do not succeed. If the game is fair, then failure must be your fault. Poverty becomes proof of laziness. Struggle becomes evidence of stupidity. We are taught not to see structural inequality, but to point fingers at individuals. You should have worked harder. You didn't try enough. This narrative allows the privileged to look down on the less fortunate with moral superiority while ignoring the tilted field that made their success possible. Michael Young's warning has come true. A ruling class that believes it has earned everything and therefore owes nothing. The meritocracy myth also crushes the soul of the young. Students are taught from their earliest years that their worth lies in grades, test scores, resumes. They scramble to stack achievements, terrified of falling behind in an endless race. Anxiety, depression, burnout, these are the children of meritocracy, a world where value is measured only by productivity and status, where rest is laziness and failure is shame. It is not a path to excellence. It is a treadmill to despair. And while all of this unfolds, talent is wasted. Entire communities brimming with creativity and intelligence are left unheard because they lack the right credentials, the right accent, the right connections. Imagine the cures never discovered, the books never written, the inventions never built, all because the so-called gatekeepers of merit never opened the door. When opportunity is hoarded, humanity loses. But here is the darkest truth. Meritocracy is not a broken system. It is the system. It was never designed to be fair. It was designed to justify inequality. It tells the winners they deserve their throne and the losers they deserve their chains. It transforms structural injustice into personal failure and privilege into virtue. It does not challenge power. It sanctifies it. So what do we do? First, we must strip away the blindfold. We must admit that success is never just about effort. It is a storm of effort, privilege, luck, and injustice. Pretending otherwise only deepens the wound. We must stop asking who worked hardest and start asking who had to work hardest just to get here. We must fight for genuine equality of opportunity. That means investing in education that does not discriminate by zip code. That means dismantling hiring practices that punish difference. That means universal health care so illness is not a death sentence for the poor. That means opening doors, not just for those who already stand at the front, but for those locked outside the building altogether. We must also redefine success, not as the hoarding of wealth or the climbing of status ladders, but as the contributions we make to the collective. A nurse who saves lives, a teacher who shapes minds, a parent who nurtures children. These roles are immeasurably valuable, yet meritocracy treats them as lesser. We must learn to see value not only in profit, but in care, in art, in justice, in compassion. And perhaps most importantly, we must embrace collective responsibility. Meritocracy isolates us, convincing us that our fate is ours alone, that our failures are personal, and that our struggles are private. But society is not an individual competition. It is a shared project. The truth is, no one succeeds alone. Behind every so-called self-made man are the roads he drives, the schools he learned in, the workers who built his home, the invisible hands that carried him higher. The myth of meritocracy erases them. The truth restores them. So where does that leave us?
It leaves us with a choice: to keep clinging to the comforting lie of meritocracy, or to confront the uncomfortable reality of inequality. To keep telling ourselves the game is fair, or to admit that the rules have always been rigged. To keep playing by a system designed to divide us, or to begin imagining one that truly values all of us. The truth is hard. The truth is heavy. But the truth is the only weapon we have against the machinery of lies. So I leave you with this. The next time you hear someone say, "Anyone can make it if they work hard enough," ask yourself, who benefits from that story being told? Who gains power when the poor are blamed for their poverty? Who profits when privilege is disguised as merit? This is Dreaded, and if you want more truths like this, subscribe to the channel now. Not because it helps me, but because it helps spread the truth. If you let this knowledge die here, the lie continues. But if you carry it, share it, speak it, perhaps we can start to tear away the mask of meritocracy and see the world for what it really is. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more.